What's up, everybody? We are back for another jam-packed episode of Fireflies Forever. Man, do we have a lot to talk about today. Um, so I'm not even gonna waste a bunch of time. I'm gonna bring on who's here today, and yeah, we've got someone who we haven't seen in a while. Dom, how are you, my friend?
Really good, mate. Really good. It is a pleasure to be back here with you all, and thank you so much for having me back as well. I'm excited to talk about the new stuff, but obviously, spend some time with you guys because I've got so many good memories of being here and sharing all the love with all the Fireflies. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, good to have you here, man. Good to have you here, and you're welcome anytime. Definitely got a lot of great and fond memories having Dom on the show. So I'm sure at some point we'll get into some of those memories and take a little trip down memory lane with Dom. We've got Joe in the house. What's up, Joe?
What's going on, guys? How are you? Hope you're all doing well. I am. I'm good. I'm feeling good. I went out bought myself a new pair of white kicks. I have not had white sneakers in about maybe 25 years, which I don't know what made me do it, but I don't know. New me, new shoes. I guess I have no idea, but I'm doing good. It's a process. You like I was starting to eat a little bit yesterday, and then you find out how quickly you get full. And then the next thing you know, you're like, all right, you kind of have to back off because you're starting to feel a little bit more like yourself and everything. But I'm doing well. I have some more energy. I'm walking around a little bit more and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm doing good. Nice to see everybody, and of course, nice to see Dom and Chris as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man, and glad that you're doing well and yeah, I know it's a journey, but you're kicking a lot of butt right now, Joe. So
I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you.
yeah. So, and we got Chris. Chris, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
Um, a little behind the curtain peek. So Chris and I were talking about last night a little bit how much we loved it, and we cannot wait to talk to the rest of you about your thoughts and get just really drill down into what we got last night because it was a lot, and definitely want to get there. But as we do every week, we want to start out with some memories. So I want to turn it over to Chris. Chris did share a video that I'm going to play here shortly when he gives me the thumbs up. But Chris, take it away, man.
Yeah, had some more cool Firefly encounters this week. I wanted to share with you guys. On the 4th of July, me and Logan went over to a friend's house to go to a cookout and light some fireworks and stuff. And during the day, like we were at the cookout before it even gotten dark and we got to the fireworks or anything. I was just hanging out back in the backyard and saw a firefly flying around me, just one solo one, no other ones, kind of hanging around me. And then later on, we went out to the front of the house after it got dark to do fireworks. And yet again, there was just one single firefly that was hanging around us the whole time while we were watching fireworks. No other ones around or anything. And then the next day, on July 5th, me and Logan were hanging out in our driveway because some people in our neighborhood were shooting off fireworks. And we saw several fireflies around in our front yard there. Me and Logan caught a couple of them, and I was holding them in my hand and put one on his hand. He'd never really seen one up close like that, and there was several that had landed on our garage door and stuff, and it was really cool. And then later on that night, I was out on my back patio and took a video in my backyard that just going to show you here. There was tons of fireflies, and I thought it was really cool. I wanted to share it.
Yeah, so here we go. Here's the video. I honestly, Chris, when I watched this, I got chills. But here's the video, folks. I don't know why it's acting up on me. Let me try. Let me get the video again. Don't know why it's acting up. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab the video, but while I'm doing that, um, I I do want to welcome in everyone in chat from Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I'm not calling it X. And you. So thank you all so much. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go off camera real quick, Joe. If you kind of want to take over and let's talk about some memories while I'm pulling this up.
Yeah, absolutely. What I could do here quickly is I can welcome some people in. Christopher Clown, Jeremy Dunderman, DJB, Tazzy is out there. Tazzy, what's going on, my friend? We have Bonus Baby, we have Christopher, we've got John G, we've got Marvin, we've got somehow Dom's in the chat. I don't know how people do that. It's magical when that happens. We have Bonus Baby, Richie, Christopher, probably naming people twice. Alexa Bliss Gamers here, John G, RMG, James Chadwick, and yeah, I think I got you all. Yeah, look, we're gonna have obviously a big show tonight, but one of the things, and this is all about memories, of course, and Chris's memories and stuff like that. I actually had a Firefly on my screen door when I opened my front door one night to go outside, just a single one, and it's really weird, when you see things like that, and it reminds you. I know, my mom was a big proponent of things, like after my grandfather had passed away, who was kind of like a father to me. She saw a butterfly, and butterflies are very rare where we live. We don't see them very normally at all. And she used to say, look, it's something. It's you're getting some sort of sign. It's a visitation. It's something like that. That's going on, and so it's really cool when things happen like that. And I'm sure the spirit or the essence or whatever it happens to be of a loved one is out there somewhere, and it could come to you really in any way, and it's really, really cool when it does that. So yeah, but yeah, if there's Chris, I don't know if there's anything else you want to continue to talk about.
I do want to say, since Dom's here, I haven't had a chance to talk to you, Dom. I just wanted to say that I saw your video a while back that you did about Jodie, and I really appreciate that. It brought me a lot of comfort hearing the wonderful things you said about her.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was obviously, Jodie and I kept in touch. Obviously, we all live quite far away from each other, but Jodie was always checking in, and I always really appreciated that. And I think that is, it's a pleasure to sit with you all, but particularly with you, Chris, because again, Jodie brought me a lot of joy and was very, always checked in, made the effort out of, as we know, we remember, and you will remember particularly Jodie being very busy quite a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I always appreciated that Jodie made the time to just send a text message, check in, talk music or what was happening with Bray. So, of course, all my love and respect, as I said on the video, to you guys. But Jodie does stay the passion, and I think you see it on Twitter and with the wonderful community that you guys have. Like, Jodie's memory it remains, you know what I mean, and stays with people. And I think that's a beautiful testament to your family, but to Jodie's character as well. That she still stays with us all, and people still talk about memories with Jodie now. So,
but that was about this community.
Yeah, I think that really. It was just a beautiful thing, and then obviously to have that, because I've not spoken to a lot of you regularly, but to have WWE recognize that and to have other people recognize that is again just a testament to again the strength of your family and to the strength of Jodie and this community, and that's why I wanted to come back, because it is such a even though it's late at night here for me, like. It's such a joy to sort of spend time with you all and to be here again.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to see you all, and thank you, Chris, because it is a pleasure to be in your company as well.
So I think I have it now. Hopefully it pops up this time. But Chris, feel free to narrate as we're going through this, because this one doesn't have any. It doesn't have any. Audio.
Yeah.
I'm still
hopefully everybody can see it, and it's really dark, and it's obviously it's just outside at night, but and all those little flashes you see, there's just tons of them flashing everywhere.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I just kind of panned around the backyard, and I just noticed that there was a whole bunch of them in my yard, and just thought it was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like I now I realize I did see them the first time round. It's beautiful to see that, because we don't get a lot of those in the UK at all. So it's beautiful to see.
I want to play it again because like I said, I get chills. So
yeah, it's there on the screen, guys. It's just very dark. You just have to kind of watch, and you'll see like the little.
You're just looking for you just see the flashes of the fireflies.
Yeah, you just see the flashes there. It's a little hard against a dark screen, but you can see them.
Yeah, they are there. Yeah.
Yeah, right there across the middle. They almost look like constellation stars a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny too, because ever since I was a little kid, I was always fascinated by fireflies. I used to love going out in my backyard and catching them and stuff and like that. So it's cool to see how that has become, an important part of my life now with what Bray did and stuff and Jodie now and everything that, call back to when I've always loved them ever since I was a kid, and now they're something really special to me.
Yeah. So man, thank again, Chris, like I say this every week, but thank you so much for sharing, these moments with us. Again, by the beautiful words that Dom and Joe have said, and many people in the chat, how much Jodie means to all of us.
Yeah.
We definitely want to keep her memory alive. So anytime that we get a chance to kind of be a part of your world and experience these moments like this, it's really special. So thank you so much.
Jodie would have loved, to share all this stuff with you guys. So I'm glad that I still get to do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Before we move into discussing last night, since Dom brought this up, Dom, I'm going to put you on the spot here. And I want you to share a favorite funny moment of you joining us, and just a funny moment that stands out to you. I know I have one, but I want to hear from you what a funny moment is that you keep in mind that from when we were on the show before.
Well, I think there's a lot that centers around my thoughts around your beautiful voice, Jeff. I think that and particularly Jodie's, everybody's reaction to that and the laughter that brought was a great moment for me. I think just being able to, on a purely practical level, just being able to share some theories and stuff with you all was wonderful, and really engage with everybody. And the Holy Monkey hashtag is always is close to my heart. The fact that was on Twitter for a while, and that was Jodie actually that I think launched that one as well. So that was really cool to have that my little moment in the sun on social media when after we had a stream and the hashtag Holy Monkey prompted by Jodie. But yeah, I think it was the did I ever say your voice? I've just seen Interview Wrestling's thing. Did I ever say your voice was succulent? I'm not entirely sure I did.
You called it many things, but succulent wasn't one of them. Thank goodness. But leave it to Johnny Bates to make this.
I was gonna say I never called it succulent, but now I'm back. But it was everybody's reaction to my love for your voice every week, and particularly again Jodie's. Just everybody's laughter is one, but there's so many memories of just of engagement with the chat and just the wonderful community. Because I've never been a part of anything like that. Obviously, we're lucky to have what we do on Give Me a Whole Yeah and a platform there. But in terms of you guys for a long time, and Chris was there as well, of course. Were the premier source for Bray Wyatt stuff. And whether I wanted you to record an audio book or not of your, sexy sayings, Jeff, was irrelevant. It was irrelevant.
The sexy stylings of Jeff Watson. Let's
Wow.
go. Get that printed, baby.
Yep.
Let's go.
That was
You
That
need to
was a-
record an album, and that's the title, Jeff.
I often said,
That's the title.
I
That's the title.
often say to Jeff that he would have been an outstanding night drive DJ. Those shows where you would have the couples call up, the wife or the husband call in and say, hey, I want to send one out to my boyfriend. Jeff would have been amazing at that, like absolutely amazing.
So I didn't actually say succulent howls. I'm just taking it on. I'm just
He's adopted it now. So now
He's
it's forever. It's
hashtag succulent and tender. Apparently, that's
I just saw that. So
I just want to say this isn't me. I didn't make this up. This is succulent and tender.
So I walked into that one. That's my fault. I walked into all of that. But Dom, honestly, man, I'm glad to have you here because, man, we've had a lot of good times on here. Just kind of riffing back and forth and having fun, and that's what it's all about too. Having fun and and enjoying the folks that celebrate the same things that you do and that love the same things that you do.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's that was always part of our streams, whether we were talking about music or people performing music and Jodie's opinions about these people. It was always very, very entertaining and always very fun. There was always a level of innuendo that I came in and injected, I suppose, but it was always great fun, and I think that I had such a good time. I'm sorry about all these succulent and tender hashtags that might be appearing now.
that's it's nothing in our chat, but it's going to end up out on Twitter at some point. I know.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not on Twitter. Thank God.
It feels like it might be like like one of those like WWE biographies, like
it's
succulent and tender, the Jeff Watson story. Produced for A&E.
Oh man. Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
I'd have to do your intro then at this point if you were doing a radio show, and I'd be. You are now about to listen to the succulent and tender Jeff Watson hour. Oh my God. I see this floods back memories for me too, because I didn't get on the shows very much, but I can remember listening to you guys laughing for literally a half an hour on that show.
Yeah.
Like you would be laughing for, from time that it started around like 6:10 or so, you'd be laughing for like almost a half an hour. And sometimes you ended it that way. Like it would just start. Guys would just be like laughing it up for the last. I'd be in my car like laughing, being had to watch. I don't get in an accident on the way home.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun.
Kazzy, you need to use succulent and tender on the NXT stream.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I said, thank God I'm not on Twitter. Because I would block many of you. I'm just playing. But no, it's all in good fun. It's all all love. So Dom, thank you for that moment. Thank you for making us laugh, keeping us laughing, man. Getting the chat going. I love it.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
man.
so
I think just before, because I know we've got a show to run, but I think that's one of my major points from this show is we're all, we all had so much going on. Jodie, Chris, you got everybody had so much going on in their lives, in their day to day. Responsibilities, everything. And I know a lot of people in the chat, some of you, and I say this with, of course, respect, some people were struggling with certain mental health issues. Some people were struggling with certain challenges, whether that's work or college or whatever that might have been. And everybody came together to have fun here. And I always thought that was one of the most beautiful things about this community was that we would openly talk about maybe some of the difficult days we've had or some challenges. And then we would all have fun together, and it would be a bit of comedy, and there would be a lot of theories, and it was just a place to feel, I think I've said it before, but it was the first place where I got to be a fan of something and feel really good about it. You know what I mean? Because I've obviously worked professionally, as a lot of, as you guys have worked professionally in the industry. And I think it's just lovely to be a fan and just have a good time. And I thank you guys for that. It is absolutely you guys, that gave me that platform, the community that you guys have built, and that Jodie, was instrumental in building. The fact that Chris is here is amazing as well. Again, that legacy there, it's wonderful. So I just wanted to say, it is good to be back, but whether I'm here or not, you guys have all had a profound impact on my life, and I really appreciate everybody in the chat as well.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful words, man. And honestly, just speaking about good grief. Speaking about the community, you all are amazing. Even though it right now is at my expense, but I'm all good. Do not get that one going though, a Hurdy sketch. No. You can keep that one. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us.
Just smooth and moist.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't get that one trending, or you're gonna get the wrong attention on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you will be flooded with many, many bots that you will not want. Trust me. So yeah. You don't want to probably share that one.
And if Twitter is anything like I remember, at the end there were some we'll just say risque profiles that you couldn't avoid at all. And so you're gonna get bots, and we're gonna get bots in the chat at some point too. You know how those porn bots, or should I say corn bots?
Corn,
corn bots, how they like to pop into the chat. But yeah, thank Dom. You're the man. I'm so appreciative of you. And like you said, talking about our community, I love this community because everyone is welcoming, they're loving, they're caring, they're supportive. And we tend to do things a little bit different around here, and we believe in uniting all, everyone, a lot of content creators, and a lot of times it can become competitive, and it shouldn't be, because there's space for all of us. And I'm seeing some of the stuff in the chat as well. But
it's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful moment, and I appreciate.
I'm gonna end it with this, and I'll finish it with Hal's comment. Late night with the smooth, succulent, tender tones of Jeff Watson tonight on the show.
There you go.
There you go.
I just saw, and obviously, again, you all know I love listening to Jeff's voice, but I'm listening to this beautiful emotional moment, and all I can see is #buff and creamy.
Oh God! Oh no!
That'll definitely lead to stuff you don't want.
This is degenerating really, really quickly.
All right, so we're gonna move on from that.
Let's talk about some Wyatt Sicks now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some Wyatt Sicks and what we got last night.
Actually, Jeff, one quick one. So before I know we mentioned songs and stuff to talk about. Really quickly, what's the name of that song that I told you that's on David Gilmour's album? We gotta shout that out. It is
we do.
Good. So
let me find it real quick, because
David Gilmour, obviously of Pink Floyd, has an album coming out, and his latest song that released off the album is a song with his daughter singing with him on the
Between
song.
2 points.
Oh my God, guys, go check it out. You will literally so emotional. Listening to her sing, and with her father in there playing guitar, it's tremendous. I mean, I've always been a Pink Floyd fan, and Gilmour is amazing. But oh my gosh, when I listened to that, I had to share with Jeff right away, and it literally wow, it just sometimes a song will do that, just fill you with emotions, and man, oh man, I have 2 daughters, and it just wow, and having her sing, and you could kind of feel her emotion in it too. And I think some of the song was about him not being able to be around and her not being able to get to know him because of being on the road and stuff like that. And now she, so it's wonderful, Jeff. I know he responded to me right away because Jeff's a huge Pink Floyd fan and said how much he liked it. It's tremendous.
What's it called again, Joe? I've always liked Pink Floyd a lot too.
Between 2 Points.
Okay.
Yep. Between 2 Points by David Gilmour. Tremendous.
Yeah, tremendous.
Absolutely tremendous.
I'll be honest, and I told Joe this after I listened to it. He sent it to me, and I listened, and I was in tears, man. It's a very deep, emotional song.
Really,
very powerful.
And she has a great voice.
Oh my gosh.
It's that kind of a song. And it's cool that her dad is bringing her into the forefront a little bit. And who knows? She's on Instagram, I know, but maybe she'll end up with some kind of music career out of it. But man, it was amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Her voice and his guitar playing. Oh my goodness, man!
The solo at the end, Jeff. The guitar. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it really was. Really, it was a great song. Check it out if you like that kind of music. Check it out. It's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
I agree. So good shout out there, Joe, because more people need to hear that song.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we last night. Let me just start here. Initial thoughts on last night. I'll start with Chris, then go to Joe, and then Dom. Just initial thoughts last night.
I was just blown away by the detail and stuff in it, and how the little if you really listen to it, the little things, like how he's explaining, each of the characters and the specific words he used and stuff. There was so much awesome detail in that promo, and that's what really stuck out to me. I loved it. I can't wait to break it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe?
They are not getting anything incorrect with this. Nothing. Every little thing that people were concerned about with this, including myself, how do you bring in a group like this into a supernatural frame and be able to also have it become a wrestling thing? And after last night, especially, my worries are next to none. They are just killing it with these promos. Bo and the writers are just destroying this. And now you're bringing the way they're doing it. I love the slow burn. I love how this is going from week to week. I don't need to see. I wasn't disappointed that they weren't at the that they were at the Royal Rumble, or not the Rumble, the Money in the Bank. I wasn't disappointed by that. I don't need to see that. I'm okay with it. Let this burn slowly. Bring the introductions in of the other characters, which is what we got, and then all of a sudden, we'll talk about that later. But then the big thing with Bo in the back, I love this. I cannot love this more. And it's phenomenal. I'm excited to talk about it too, because it was just phenomenal how they're doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been back here talking about anything WWE related, and I've got to say they're absolutely killing it right now. Everything from the Dom Mysterio, Liv and Rhea angle is on point. But with this stuff, I mean, it's one of the lessons I learned right here. On the Insiders, you guys would often tell me and remind me to take it easy and not rush, because I have a short attention span. I was always like, when's it coming? When's it happening? And Jodie was always on. You guys would always say to me, just like, take it easy. Trust in the process. Be patient. And here this time around, I've been rewarded for my patience, and I think everybody has. I think we all, as a community, can say that this has been fantastic. And crucially, and I'm sure there'll be missteps, I'm sure there'll be things down the road where we're like, oh, this is a little weird or odd, but crucially, as a platform for Bo and a platform for Taylor and a platform for these forgotten people, I mean, what a relaunch for Joe Gacy, for Dexter Lumis, for Nikki Cross, for everybody involved in this, for Eric Rowan, of course. It's consistently one of the best segments, one of the highest rated, because obviously we know WWE pay attention to numbers, consistently one of the highest rated and highest viewed segments each week. And that is I think people have learned. I think people have learned to be patient and be excited and trust in the process. And I think we're seeing the payoff already.
Yeah. And oddly enough, another peek behind the curtain, Chris and I were actually talking about patience before the stream started with fans, and sometimes fans feel the need to get to have things rushed or to be the exact way that they want it. That's not this story, and if you're a fan of this, you should not want it to go fast, and you should appreciate the slow burn. Appreciate the fact that they're taking their time with this, and really, I mean, I feel like last night was so incredibly well done, as has everything been the last several weeks. Everything from the moment they stepped on the scene and wreaked havoc that first night to last night has been about as perfect as it can be. I can't think of anything really to critique it and say I wish we would have done this or I wish they could have done that, because I know Chris has said this before, but the fact that we don't know the exact direction that they're going in when we get something on the show adds to it. That adds to it. That level of mystique and mystery, and just you don't know what's gonna happen, and that's a great part of this. That gives them another level of fear in the locker room, but also fear from the fans. Like, okay, when are these guys actually gonna pop up? You see Chad Gable, and you're like, okay, it's gonna happen right here, and then it doesn't happen that way, but it happens at a different time. It's like, okay, they got me on that one. There have been a lot of moments like that. I want to say, and I didn't get a chance to say this, but I wanted to thank Hanzo for his super chat earlier. We really appreciate that, man. All right, so we're gonna keep going. I do want to get to a couple comments here. Barry Monkey always adding a little bit of humor into the chat, saying trust the system. Sorry, wrong company. Hey, we'll forgive you. We love TNA around here, so that's Hanzo saying, I feel like Bo is playing Pierce backstage, like he needs help with the Wyatt Sicks, that he's not in charge. Howdy is, he's playing mind games. I feel like that's a great comment too. Sorry, I don't know why my computer is deciding to be a jerk today of all days, but nonetheless, here we are. Deanna saying, I'm getting my payoff as she's a Bo fan, so believe others are finally seeing what I've known. Hurdy Sketch saying it needs to be a slow burn. And they're doing phenomenally. I've been in contact with Nikki, and she's loved. Okay, that's awesome. So we're going to get to Nikki, because I thought that there was one person in the breakdown of the family that we missed when it came to describing and unmasking that person, and that was Nikki. And I want to get your thoughts, the chat, and Dom and Chris and Joe, on what you make of that decision and what you think is going to happen with her, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not afraid of the spider walking and stuff, but that she creeps me the heck out. I'm just gonna be honest. She creeps me out. So
since Jeff mentioned my fear, can I go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna happen at some point in time. I got the crap scared out of me by a Marvel thing yesterday from stupid Agatha, the Agatha trailer. Had a person spider walking across the room. But anyway, the Nikki thing. Yeah, a lot of people actually reached out to me, and they're like, "Why aren't they? Is this because they're saving a spot for Alexa Bliss?" Seemed to be a lot of what the people were saying. No, what she's playing is an entity. Abby has always been a central entity for this story.
Mm-hmm.
Abby does not need to be unmasked, and maybe now she is wearing a mask. However, she may be one of the only characters who wears makeup when she wrestles. she may not ever show her face. And you know, when she takes that off, it may reveal a white, because she can easily paint her face white with the rings and stuff like that around her eyes that you can see now. So I don't think that they want to give that away, because Abby is a spirit. Abby's a ghost. And so I think the surprise of this is when she pulls off that mask, it's going to look very similar to that mask that's on her face. I think she's going to keep the makeup on, because Abby has always been a mystery. Always. From when Jodie was doing this show all throughout, Abby's been a mystery, an entity, something that people would talk about in promos a lot. You remember the Randy Orton stuff and everything in the Wyatt house and all of that. She's always been an enigma. She's coming to the tables and not saying a word. She's passing off something. So she is, to me, I love that. And I think that will equate very well to wrestling, because people have wrestled in makeup. Sting, being one of them. There's so many out there that have, but to have her come out and then when she does wrestle, slow, methodical, scary, and I think that's phenomenal. I don't think we need to see who she is, and I don't think we need to see to have her come on and say words, on a promo. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I agree with that. Deanna, thank you for the super chat, saying, hear me out. What if they are not the bad guys? What if Bo is simply trying to protect his family? Let's start with Dom on that one. Then we'll go Chris and then Joe. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, as always, it's lovely to see Deanna as well. I think it's an interesting point, because I don't think you can make this a full-on heel faction at the moment. I think that's the intention, what they were going for. They were going to come in and, terrorize and stuff. But there's so much love for this at the moment. Of course, nostalgia for Bray, but also, again, tribute to his legacy. So I really like that. I don't think these guys are the bad guys, and I don't think they can create a narrative where anybody is going to boo the Wyatt Sicks anytime soon. Maybe at some point, but not right now. So I think the angle of Bo trying to protect his family from at least maybe in his mind, maybe that's the story, that we see Bo protecting his family from Chad Gable, from Jey Uso, from the bloodline down the road, then that works for me, and I think that's a really interesting idea, Deanna. Yeah, I think that's a really, really clever idea, and to be honest, it's a great face angle for them as well, a great good guy angle for them. Bo is protecting the family, and the family are like the well, I suppose you can't really make Eric Rowan an underdog in anything, but you know what I mean. The idea that they can be good despite the outsider, style of the group, I think it's a tale as old as time. We all want to root for the weirdos, right? We all want to root for the outsiders, and I think that's what we're getting here.
Absolutely. Chris.
Joe said something about Alexa. I know it's something I wanted to mention about it last night, that I think that one of the first things that Bo said last night really shows that Alexa's not in the design to be a part of this, because he said, I took those that no one wanted, the discarded, the forgotten. I gave them a purpose. That doesn't describe Alexa at all. She's never been one that no one wants. She's never been discarded or forgotten. She's always been in the spotlight and stuff. So, I think we can really put that to bed now officially, that definitely doesn't describe her, at least for now, in the time being, in the current state of things. I think that she could be a target at some point, but I definitely think that we see the lineup for now, and that she's not going to be a part of it or replacing anyone or anything. So just wanted to throw that out there and put that one to bed.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you doing that, because I thought that line was very clear. What the makeup of those who will be a part of this group will be, at least for the initial part of it. It's about taking people, like you said, who were forgotten, who were the misfits, the outcasts, and giving them a purpose and a place in a family, and they're no longer forgotten. So I thank you for that point, Chris. Joe, we'll wrap up with you, and then Hurdy Sketch has a really really interesting comment here I want to get to as well.
That applies, Chris. The same thing you said, that applies to Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
So many people asked why Braun's not in there.
Yeah.
Braun wasn't forgotten. Braun wasn't, looked upon as a nobody or as somebody they didn't want. I just am really, really amazed. Again, I give kudos on this show the few times I've been on here so far to Rob Fee, to those who are writing this stuff, because this is deep stuff, man. They are doing Bray proud because this is extremely deep. Like, with the scene with Bo in the back and stuff like that, and how he walked in on him and what was he doing there? It was almost like when they walked in on Bray in the back when he was supposed to be in the funhouse and he ended up in that room and stuff like that. So like all of this and the stuff that Bo is saying, this is obviously telling you who they're going to target. They're not after a heel or a face. They're after people who abandon their family. They're after people who turn their backs on their families. At least that's what it sounds like. And that's probably why Chad is a target. But that could be me and Jeff and I talked about this last week. That can be anyone in wrestling. Yep. How many times in wrestling do people turn on partners?
That's why it's so great, because it's something that's never going to end in wrestling. So there's always going to be somebody turning on somebody.
That's why Jey Uso is running out of the damn building every time they're in the ring, because he knows that well.
That was tremendous. Him leaving the ring like that was absolutely tremendous.
He just gives it a yeet, I'm out of here, and just takes off up the
it was the comedic timing. You got to give it to these guys as actors and performers too, because it was the whole kind of, and then like the quick glance to the camera, like I am gone. Like it was the comedic timing of Jey Uso to get all that right and do that brilliant. I loved it.
They are doing such a wonderful job with these promos. And the other thing I want to point out too is, right, even though we're seeing them on Monday Night Raw and that's it, they're on Twitter. So they're still putting things out on social media, which is what Bray used to do too. Bray would leave these little cryptic things on his socials. They're doing the same thing. So I am just in awe of the writing from this. And how, now he said, what did he say to comment about the master? No one needs to be their master, something along those lines. What that tells me is, that's a sign. Go ahead. Sorry.
I had it here because that was one of the things I wrote down that I really liked is we must set the captives free so they need no master.
And that could apply to Chad Gable's group, right? They don't need a master. We want to set them free. So that could apply to them. He's even
calling himself Master Gable.
Yeah, that could apply to that. That could even apply to his little group and saying, all right, I'm going to set you free, which means that now, yes, they're a faction. And yes, they started as a group. But now they can go and do whatever they feel the need to do as long as it's within the realms and the rules of the group. So, I love it. It's so deep. It's so good. This is honestly Bray is smiling down on this because if this wasn't his idea, which I do think that it was, we've heard rumors. We heard from Kyle Scarborough about making all the puppets into characters. We heard that. So if that wasn't what he would, it's just. I absolutely love this. I really do, and I can't wait for the next box that we get next Monday Night on Raw. And like Dom said, that hour or whatever that is on TV is probably the highest hour of Raw right now because of everybody wanting to see. Because it usually happens around 9:30, maybe 9:45 Eastern time, and that little 15 minutes. My God, they're showing clips of streamers reacting to this now on YouTube, which is insane. So this is just thought out, well written, well done. The other thing I want to mention really quickly too is people were afraid it was going to be, like I said, maybe a little too supernatural, right? The Fiend, they got into that a little bit too much. They unfortunately did, and we all remember that mess of a Hell in a Cell match, and it got into it too much. This is very not. It's not supernatural as much. They're not. Yes, there's mist and all that kind of and smoke and everything like that. But to me, These guys are, he said last night, you call us sick? Well, okay, then we're going to be. These people could be just people, as we talked about many times with Bray too, people with split personalities, people with different psychological problems. So to me, that's very real. And they don't really have to delve into the supernatural as much. Nikki, maybe that's what they want her there for. Maybe they'll use that mostly with her, and that's fine. When you get into the wrestling ring, you don't want to have all that much stuff around. You want to have people that can just go in and do things because they want to do them. And like I said, I think this has been masterfully done.
Yeah.
I feel like instead of supernatural, they're leaning more into just straight horror movie vibes.
Yes.
With a lot of this, and it's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Want to get to a couple of these comments here. Hanzo said, going back to Nikki, you see her face when they do the exit shot. So I think she doesn't need to reveal her face. Let's see. Odin's son saying, I'm telling you, if I was Pat or Cole when Nikki walks up to the desk, I'd be a little weary myself. Yeah.
I love how Pat was like, "You gonna open this to Mike Cole?" He's like, "No."
I love the fact how Cole was like, "Yeah, this was addressed to you, buddy." So
yeah.
Hurdy sketch saying, anyone thought Chad is the smoke and mirrors like Pluto with the shadows, and Jay is the real target. He's always there and disrespecting family and false prophets. Bloodline. What do you guys think about that? I'll start with Chris.
I don't know. I think they both are, honestly, because I think you can definitely say Chad is a target just because he's what he did to his family, and we've seen it played out, the things he's talked about with family, and we definitely saw that with him. So I think that I definitely think Jay is going to end up getting his too. I think that's coming just slowly, and I love the see him on his toes about it every week. So I think they both are. I don't think it's one or the other.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I think when you look at it from a wrestling perspective, Jay's going to be involved in a big storyline really, really soon with this whole bloodline versus bloodline thing, I believe. When Roman ends up coming back, which I kind of think will be SummerSlam at some point, especially if it's going to be Cody against Solo at SummerSlam, that's what's going to bring Roman back. He's going to cost him that. And then at that point, he's going to need reinforcements. So I think that Jay and Jimmy will end up coming back and helping Roman in that. So I think that's there. Like Chris just mentioned, that is always there. And that could definitely be something they hit down the road. And they might start to give little hints as to, who they're going to go after. But the Gable thing, I think, is happening. And you got another little hint of that last night, too, when Chad tried to recruit other people. You can see him in the back now trying to get help. His old group is they don't want a part of him anymore. But now he's going to other tag teams trying to bring people in. So that could very well set up a match where you might have Chad and who was it? I forget the name of that team that he was talking to yesterday, the one from NXT that was there.
The Creed brothers?
Yes, the Creed brothers. So if they join up with him, you can have Chad and the Creed brothers go up against the Wyatt Sicks in a 3-on-3 matchup as their first match possibly. So,
and to add to that point, someone mentioned this in the chat earlier, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was. Otherwise, I'd give you credit. But the Creed brothers have some history with Schism, which Joe Gacy was a part of.
Yes, they do.
So, again, there's meat on the bone there for story. So, yeah, definitely great points. And folks in the chat, thank you. You guys are awesome. All the questions and comments and all that good stuff. You guys rock. So I want to get to some of the reveals last night.
Oh man.
And I'm just going to go through the pictures here. But Dom, I want to start with you on this one. Talk about some of the reveals, and then we'll go to Chris and Joe. And I'll just cycle through some of these photos.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I think it was. It was very, very well done. Of course, a lot of the narrative around this group is that everything is connected. It goes back to the Howdy Weather promo. I am all of us, and I think that's the idea that Howdy represents the forgotten. Loomis, Gacy, Nikki Cross, and and I guess us as well, the fans, the supporters, the people that maybe feel a little bit, kind of, out there or othered in society. But in terms of those visuals, I think that represents that, they all blended into one at various points. It was all mixed together. You first had the individuals, and their corresponding masks. So we knew what they looked like without the mask. We knew what they looked like with the mask. And then you got an amalgamation of everybody. And that, that phrasing, I am all of us, this is my family. And I thought it was really, really great because we got again, it goes back way back to when Bray was with us and that last promo, I am all of us. And I just thought it was a real great sort of statement of intent that this group is a real family. They support each other. They are there for each other. And just I mean, everybody looked great as well. I mean, Joe Gacy like people obviously always said Joe Gacy was going to be Bray Wyatt light, and little comments like that. But I've listened to, various YouTubers. There are people out there with some with connections in WWE, and people do say that Joe Gacy is going to, do very well out of this. And I just thought this was again an example of just how cool Joe Gacy can look. All of them really, but particularly Gacy and Dexter Lumis with the dreads and stuff. It looks really cool, man. And again, so much effort has been put into this. And that going back to what you guys were saying earlier, there's so much time and attention being put into this, and being put into creating a solid legacy for Bray. With this stuff, I can't really fault it. I can't really fault it. I mean, there's a point I spoke to Kyle the other week for an interview that we're going to put out soon on Soundsphere, and he said that initially Bray didn't want other people playing the puppets, that he wanted to do it all himself. But I think given the situation, this is a great way to pay tribute to Bray's vision, and I think if he was here, these visuals, he would have probably loved it. He would have loved the way it's been presented and everything about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Chris, your thoughts on how everyone was revealed last night and what we got?
I wrote these down, the things he said about each person, because just the level of detail just blew my mind, and how we're going back in the past here and bringing it all up. Like with Joe Gacy said, being a glutton for punishment doesn't make abandonment hurt any less. Like it was so clever, the choice of words, like glutton. Obviously, we saw Huskus the pig boy. He was a glutton. He was always stuffing his face with chocolate and stuff. To use that word in there, and then talking about the abandonment. We saw that with Joe Gacy in NXT. He got abandoned by all of his group and left just him by himself toward the end there. And then same thing with Dexter Lumis, forsaken, alone, begging for mercy as the buzzard circle. We saw that with him too. He was after he got left behind by the way, and he was alone and popping up places and stuff like that. And just and then especially with Rowan, there's been loss too much, but grief is the price we pay for love. And it showed, that mask that was worn by Brody in there, and how he's and referencing the so much loss for him dealing with Brody and with Bray and stuff. It was just, man, it was just done so well. I loved it.
Yeah,
and I love that line too. Grief is the price we pay for love.
Yeah,
and you can see that in his eyes there, in his face.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, it was amazing. When I saw the picture of him, like Chris said, you could just see the emotion. You could see the emotion of what he's been through. Like, he looks like a person who has been through a lot of grief in that picture, and he's wearing it. He's wearing the costume of one of his best friends who is no longer with us, and now he's part of this. Gacy looks incredibly psychotic. If I could say, I don't know how any other way to. Look at that face, dude. That is the face in a horror film of somebody that's about to hatchet up a big group of kids or something like that. But that is, he literally, like, look at that. The eyes are just, just incredible. And Loomis, oh my God, when I saw Dexter Lumis, I didn't know that was him.
Oh, I know, he looks so different.
like the long dreads that he has on, and the little beard and stuff that he's got going. Oh my gosh, they don't need the masks. Once they take those masks off, they're menacing without them. They don't need the masks to cover them, and I think it's phenomenal because that's going to bring back vibes, I think, to everybody of the original Wyatt family, because they came down, with the masks and stuff on with Bray, but they didn't need them, and when they got into the ring, they were just a force, and that's what I think these guys are going to be. They're they call them Sicks. But I look at it more as they've been damaged. They've been damaged in some way from something that happened to them in wrestling, something that they were thrown away. And maybe it's by WWE. Maybe they're, at some point they're upset with the company for not using them. But it's all been other things. And that's, and again, that is not necessarily horror. It's psychological horror. So that I love it, man. I love that they showed them now, because now when they do come down to wrestle, now what they look like. You know what they're going to look like under those masks when they take those masks off, and they still look as menacing as they do when they're on. So it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And like Chris was saying, all those quotes about each character. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic as a nice progression in the story. That would have been the thing. Well, when are we going to see him? When are we going to see him in the ring? When are we going to see what they look? Well, you haven't seen him in the ring yet, but now you know what they look like. So, loved it.
I think that really showed us too. We had kind of been wondering that question of, well, how are they going to wrestle? Are they going to be able to wrestle in this mask ring? I think that really showed us that they don't need the mask. They can take the mask off to wrestle. And I think that line too. Goes with that too. We must set the captives free, so they need no master. So I definitely think that freed that up, and he kind of answered that question. That we'll probably see him still in him for stuff like this, or maybe if they come out to like scare somebody or something. But when they're wrestling, they can take them off and still be intimidating.
Yep. James has a great comment, a great question for those who feel like it's taking too long. He says, do you think they need to pick up the pace a bit and start destroying the whole division? I think I can speak for us, but I think all of us are pretty happy with the pacing right now. Go ahead,
I was thinking, like I said, James, before when I was on this show, a long time ago now, I would have been one of those people, and I would have been like, and I've seen podcasts by the likes of Vince Russo and those people, whatever you think of them, that are saying those things now. And I just think, for me, and this might sound a bit, confrontational, but haven't we learned what we can, if we're not, patient, we might lose something. We might miss, wouldn't it be wonderful if Bray was still here, if we'd gotten that payoff? You know what I mean? So I think, to his story. So let's enjoy this. Let's treasure it for everything that it is, because we might not have it forever. We might have, fingers crossed this this lasts for 5-10 years, like Chris was saying, there's longevity to this gimmick if he's going after people that have wronged family, but it can end at any time. Anything can happen. So I think I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson for not appreciating what I had at the time. And, from an artistic standpoint, from a creative standpoint, and obviously we were called out. We were all called out at the beginning of this. Though, and I say we as one of those people that would have been that way before, we weren't patient enough. And so for me, I think for Bray fans particularly, and for Wyatt fans, let's learn from the past and really cherish what we have here, because it's art, and that's what Bray would have wanted. It's art, and it's taking risks, and it's doing something different, and that's what he said at the press conference for the Royal Rumble. He's not afraid of doing something different, and that's what his legacy will be. And and he talked about it right there, and that's what this is. This is different. This is not your standard wrestling stuff. And so for me, just sorry to kind of come on that comment there, and sort of, I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm just saying, as someone that was like that, I've learned my lesson, and now I'm trying to be as patient as possible with it.
And two, this is not just another gimmick. It's not just another story. This is, but Taylor telling this story that he wants to tell about his brother and carrying on his legacy. So he's going to do it in the timing that he feels he should, that Bray would have wanted him to, and the way and everything he wants to do it. So I'm all about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. We're coming off of a storyline in the Bloodline that lasted probably more than any storyline I've ever seen in pro wrestling, especially in this modern day and age. We're living in a part of a generation. Jeff knows what I'm going to say. I've referred to it many times on our show. It's the Veruca Salt generation. I want it all, and I want it now. That's how people unfortunately are.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Look, I get it. You're so excited that you want to see it progress. You want to see them get in the ring. You want to see the next steps. But look, good things come to those who wait is another very old saying. I should know because I'm old. So that, listen, it's very true. And in this instance, it's going to be very true. You're seeing progression, right? You're getting a little bit of progression every week. You saw their faces now. And then after that, you saw Bo in the back office. So you saw Taylor sitting in the back office in real life. He's not on a video. He's not in a psychologist's office. It's real life. So he is there. And oh my God, does he look like Bray there? Oh my God, dude. So many people have said that to me, but it's almost incredible. Like looking at him.
There was one of the images in that video too, like a side shot. Just man, it looked just like Bray.
Just like him. Like it. And so I think James said this earlier, and I know a couple other people did too. But if you catch him at the right angle, he looks just like Bray. And I know a couple people said it's kind of freaky to see, which it was, but then it's like almost like a calming effect too. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, this feels familiar even though it's new.
Yeah.
And that's what I really appreciate about it. So before we wrap up, Joe, you brought us here, so I'm gonna start with you, and then we'll go Chris and Dom. What do you make of this moment when we got to the point where Chad Gable's back there giving Adam Pearce a piece of his mind? And look, poor Adam Pearce, dude is going through it right now.
Got elbowed in the face by Drew, and
right. Got an elbow and caught. Now he walks into like probably one of the most scary people he wants to be looking at right now, sitting in his office. Right. No one expected this. I didn't see this coming. I saw Chad talking outside. I did not. And when I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute. They're giving us a complete. This is a big thing, because all we've seen so far were videos. Now he's there to talk to the man in charge on the wrestling show that his group is going to be a part of. Mm-hmm. Why would you think he's there to do that? He's gonna now see, and this is where it goes, where it's not all the supernatural, because if they were doing it all supernatural, they would have visited him somehow in some sort of video and threatened him and said, listen, we're going to do. No. He's there now in real life, and he's going to advocate on the part of this group and say why we're coming to this show, and this is what we want to do. So now he's in there talking to Pearce. Now, some people may think, well, look, you had a bunch of social media interaction happen with Pearce already when this first started. So is he a puppet of theirs? Are they going to pull his strings a little bit? Maybe. But this was amazing. As a little tag on at the end, this advanced the story. Just that much. This little tag now has just advanced the story and crossed over from Wyatt Sicks into a reality thing with this. And I loved it. Absolutely. I think it was brilliant. Not only did they show people reacting to the Wyatt Sicks video, but then a lot of whoever did those videos cut them off before this part, chopped it, and then did a reaction to this because they saw this happen right after. This I did not see this coming. I didn't think we'd see any of them like in their real personas. until they maybe got into a wrestling ring. But this again, I've used the word more times than I can say, but this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And before I get to you, Chris, Deanna's bringing up a point here. She's asking the question, is it Bo or is it Howdy sitting there?
You don't know. That's the kicker.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot we don't know about what's going on here. It left way more questions than answers, but that's one of the things I love about it. Like, going back to like what we were just talking about with patience and storylines, I feel like we're getting a big change right now. You remember years ago in the Attitude Era, the storylines were so good and they did such a good job of leaving us hanging. Like, man, as soon as you got done watching, like, man, I can't wait till next Monday, find out what happens, And we hadn't had that for a long time, and now we're getting back that. Not even just in this story, but a lot of stories, they're getting so good again. Like that's my first thought with this was like, man, I can't wait to find out what happens next week. What's he in there talking about? Like, I want to know.
Leave them wanting more.
Yep.
It used to be the thing with anything going back to soap operas that back in the day. Leave them wanting more, and then you're going to come back because you want to see what happened. So yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that was done brilliantly, like you said.
Giving you those little cliffhangers each and every week, and you're making, and I want us all to think about this too. You remember, I'm old enough to remember that not too long ago, Raw was basically unwatchable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was basically unwatchable. I mean, it was 3 hours of just good gosh, dude. It was a game almost at sometimes of can I stay awake through the entire episode. And now it's like, okay, I'm anticipating when this is coming because I know that I'm gonna get Nikki delivering something and seeing that smoke, and then I'm gonna get something backstage, and it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and not just this story. I mean, you got to give them credit. They're not just knocking it out of the park with this story. They're doing that across the board, I feel. So,
the Dominic Mysterio
the Dom Liv thing is great.
I mean, that's off the charts. Rhea comes back last night, and that's where they cut it. So now you're going to go back. Well, oh my God, what the hell happened to poor Dom? With that, yeah, man. Like I said, whatever. The writing team, the creative team, Triple H, they are getting people interested in storylines again so that they come back and watch. But Jeff, you're right. We used to do watch-alongs for Raw. Jeff and I are sitting there like, this is the worst god-awful thing I've ever seen. Like, this is the most boring thing. We'd be trying to entertain the group that was watching along with us because it was so bad.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Yeah.
All right, Dom. Your thoughts on this moment and everything that we just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I think pre-pandemic was the pandemic was when we started doing watch-alongs on Give Me a Whole Yeah, and I was part of the early incarnation of that. I obviously don't do it anymore. We have Dan who does our Monday nights now, and it's a lot easier. I the first one I went back on for like 2 years was when we knew the Wyatt Sicks was going to debut, and it was a lot easier to watch, like notably because I hadn't done it for years, the pandemic years, and it was just really a really hard slog to go through those Raws. But this is well paced. Even the Sonya Deville stuff, and that was really well done, really well built. Of course, like we said, like Chris said as well, the Liv Morgan Rhea stuff, because there was other footage filmed later of Liv Morgan, being happy with herself because of long-term storytelling. This was Liv's goal the whole time, was to manipulate, and I just think long-term storytelling is king here, and all props to everybody on the writing team. But let's go back to this. This is a respect, saying this with all respect to the legacy of guys like Vince Russo and the people that are criticizing the slow burn this time round. But this is your answer. This is how you build this faction into reality. Right here, they've done it. This is it. They're real. They are not ghosts. They are real people, Uncle Howdy may be a figment of Bo's imagination. We don't know, but that's a real, as we know from Bray's interview, I know we didn't necessarily get the proper diagnosis, but he talked about, multiple personalities before, and maybe this is what's playing in here. Maybe we're getting this, and we've talked on this show way back about doing that respectfully, and maybe that's what we'll see. This is real stuff, and this a lot of people could maybe identify with this, and I think that this is really fantastic and a great slap in the face to everybody that was like, oh, it's spooky again. Oh, we're all going to get spooky stuff. It's not going to work. Jim Cornette. Anyway, this is your answer. It's real. It's in front of you. It's there. Bo's real. The rest of them are real. The masks are off. And I think it was fantastically done. A really well paced Raw as well, because they got a lot of stuff in that Raw. One of the best paced Raws in recent memory, on the whole, from what I've seen. But this was Bo's first appearance since like 2019 on a WB show.
In
right?
a while, yeah.
What a return! Good on him, and well done on the writers for making sure this happened, because again, we could have got it's a third videotape. Oh, we saw this last week and the week before. Right? Okay, fair enough. But then you get this, and this is your answer to everybody that's saying it's not real enough, it's too spooky, it's just the same as it was before with Bray. Here you are. This is your answer. So just echoing what everybody else said, I am fully on board with this. And I think it's been paced very, very well personally. But that is my personal opinion. But I'm fascinated by next week on Raw already. And that is, as Joe was saying, in arts and entertainment, you got to keep them wanting more. And I'm in it, as it seems like we all are.
And like Jeff said earlier too, like, going from this, like, we don't know what we're going to get next week. Do we get another tape? Maybe. Do we get a real segment with Bo here? Maybe both. Like, we don't know. It's so exciting.
I'd love to see Pierce come out and say, well, we had some negotiations last week, and we have signed the Wyatt Sicks to Monday Night Raw. I'd be like, yeah, intense negotiations you had with Adam Pierce. But again, that is reality. They would have to come and be signed to the show. That's something that they would have to do normally. Like, a person would have to come in. But yeah, I think it's phenomenal, man. Like Dom said, I'm glued to my TV every single Monday night, and I certainly couldn't say that for the past, as long as we've been doing this show. So.
Yeah, that is it, and go look at if you even look at Tazzy's on the NXT shows, NXT is on fire, but probably because TNA is amazing and people are finally waking up to how great TNA is with TNA NXT. But across the board, across the board, if people like us, I know that I'm in the UK and it's like midnight now, but if people like us and streamers and content creators, however small, however large, are willing to spend chunks of our day doing this, talking about a product, then the job is being done. Because if the product was bad, if we weren't interested, we've all got other things to do, right? Everybody's got other things to do. So that's the evidence that it's working, because we're sat here fully engaged. The chat is engaged. Tazzy's show will be busy. Our shows are frequently busy as well. So it is great to see. It's great to see that WB recognizes that too. We and that was lovely to see all the teases and everything leading into this, and creators getting credit as well. So I think it's a fantastic time to be a wrestling fan. I say that quite often these days. It really is. I'm back in it. I got really burnt out after Bray passed, and we all talked about that. And of course, it's good to be back. It's a really fun time to be a wrestling fan, and yes, long live TNA, since it's outlived pretty much. TNA will outlive everything else, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's a great time to be a fan.
Absolutely.
It'd be so funny if next week Pierce opens the door and comes out of his office dressed as Postman Pierce.
Oh,
I have a letter for you all.
Yeah.
that would be great. That would be so great, man. Oh man.
To back up quick on Dom's last comment, though, man,
Yeah.
I'm watching NXT tonight. I hardly ever got time to watch. I'm watching tonight because I saw a picture of Joe Hendry appear behind Ethan Page after he won the title, and everybody knows how much I believe in Joe Hendry. So it's to back up his comment, and Jeff and I talk about this all the time. It is a great time right now, a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. It just is.
There's so much good wrestling now. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just
yeah.
is.
And everywhere, I mean, WWE is at the top of their game. AEW is doing some great stuff. TNA, like
NXT.
Joe said, NXT. And go join Tazzy. I'm going to give him a quick plug. I know he's doing the NXT watch along. Go join that here in a little bit because you never know. I mean, they showed Joe Hendry for a reason.
Yes, they did.
And I kind of get a feeling that we might get something tonight. So, So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Enjoy what you enjoy. There's way too much good to be a negative jerk online, and I'm trying to clean that up. I'm trying not to say anything worse than that, but just way too much good stuff out there to be focused on stupid rivalries and wars. And yes, thank you, Heather. All right. Yes, I'm being kind, but there are some good. I will say this: there are some good things. I find something in every promotion that I enjoy. So yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic. James with the credo, the motto there. Don't be that. I'm actually gonna put that up as a comment because it needs to be seen. All right, so we're gonna kind of land the plane here, because again, Tazzy's gonna start the NXT stream here in a little bit, and I know there are other places that do it as well. So I want to give each of the guys an opportunity to kind of wrap up our episode, talk about what they think may be next, and just kind of go from there. So Dom, I want to start with you. Tell us what you think may be next. Plug anything that you got coming up. I know you're doing a lot of great things with WrestleSphere, SoundSphere. Give me a whole yeah. So go ahead, man.
Thank you very much for the platform, and thank you all for your attention. So yeah, we have WrestleSphere where we're doing interviews with WWE stars, AEW stars. TNA is our biggest supporter. We get lots of stuff with TNA. We just had a Joe Hendry interview go up as well over on SoundSphere about his musical taste. So there's some exciting stuff coming up there, which I'm some really cool stuff. We've got an interview with Kyle Scarborough going up on SoundSphere soon too. The wrestling content tends to kind of cross over between SoundSphere and WrestleSphere. We're launching a new film and television platform in the next couple of weeks, which is going to be talking to some actors, independent actors, mainstream actors, also doing reviews. So keep an eye out for that as well. If you want to support, we'd appreciate it. Of course, in terms of wrestling content creation, I am a bit part now in that. Obviously, we have Monday Night Raw is hosted by Dan Hargreaves. AEW Dynamite is hosted by my good friend Anthony Nayland. I have my own little segment on there inspired directly by this show and you good people. It's called Howdy's Hull Yeah Hangout, where I pop on and do a quick recap of everything, kind of inspired and motivated by the Uncle Howdy and Wyatt Sicks happenings of the week. It's good fun because I'm really into it, and it's nice to be back on the channel because I had a good couple of years where I just wasn't doing any content creation really. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be back on there. There's probably some other stuff too, but yeah, go and check out SoundSphere, go check out WrestleSphere, check out Gimme a Hull Yeah, And as always, thank you for your support. I'll be back here soon. It's a joy. It's an absolute joy to be here. And thank you all for your time. In terms of what's next, you know, I want, you know, again, maybe some of the other people show up IRL, as the kids say. You know, I'm not necessarily, you know, keen to rush anybody into a match or a fight quite yet. But if we can see, you know, Eric Rowan maybe next, you know, a spotlight on Eric Rowan, that'll be cool. You know, maybe he shows up and you know, forces Adam Pearce to dress up as Postman Pearce or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very excited for whatever's next, and of course the future of Insiders, because yeah, I'm fixing to be a more regular part wherever I can be. So yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you all for your support. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for being here, man. And it's always good to chat with you. And yeah, just love you, man. Joe.
In the writers I trust. They've given me no reason not to so far going through this. I think that everything that Bo is doing, everything that Taylor is doing here, you can see it from all different angles of how this is tributizing his brother. And I don't think there will be any missteps. I think they've got a good team working on this. And I think they're being given the freedom that maybe in the past with other management there, they wouldn't have. The other management, you all know, I'm not mentioning the name, but he would have probably wanted this rushed. He would have probably thrown them into title pictures because they're so popular, and that would have led to disasters that we have gotten in the past, aka Goldberg. So let's you know, let's take it. Let them do what they're doing, because so far they've given me no reason to believe that everything they're doing isn't the right thing to do. So I know we'll see this progress. I know we'll see it, you know, come to a ring at some point, or a feud at some point. But yep, like I said, I'm in it. I'm going to be watching it every single Monday. And I'm going to be talking about it on this show every single week, of course, with Jeff and Chris. So I absolutely love it. And I just can't wait to see what's next.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. All right, Chris, bring us home.
I am just loving going. I'm going into each week with this now, just with no expectations or preconceived notions. I'm just keeping an open mind and just letting them blow my mind every week. I don't, and you know, don't want to speculate on anything. I'm just loving what I'm seeing and like keeping it that way.
Absolutely. Well, I got to say this. I want to thank every person that's in the chat. We got a good crowd here. So thank you all for being, not only being here and watching and supporting, but commenting, giving us your ideas, your thoughts, your theories. We greatly appreciate that. I often say this, and you know we're not in class, but class participation helps the discussion. So just know that we greatly appreciate you. And I mean, you're the other part of this show. We bounce things off of each other, but also ideas that we get from you all. And it's good to be amongst family and to be able to discuss all of these things. So thank all of you so much for joining us. And because we had so much to discuss this week, I didn't even do this yet. So I'm going to do it at the end here. So if you're still here, drop us a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, if you're joining us from YouTube, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell. Subscribe to Dom's channel. Subscribe to Give Me a Haul. Yeah. Go check out SoundSphere. Go check out WrestleSphere. Go support Tazzy. Listen, this has been great. This story has been great. And I can see how it's reinvigorating a lot of people and a lot of fans, and giving them something to look forward to every week. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So this is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to discuss these things with the guys on screen. But but yeah, thank all of you so much in the chat. We greatly appreciate you. Yeah, that I don't think I need to say anything other than that. Just thank you. Jesse Callan, with a good segue back to the beginning, back to the conversation that we had earlier.
Jeff, can I say one thing real quick? I just want to read this out.
Absolutely.
Static Marie. I look forward to Tuesdays because of you guys. I miss Jodie horribly. Thank you for giving me a slice of happy. That is exactly why we're doing this.
That's why we do this.
Thank you so much. That's the most amazing compliment we can get. We need it. We knew Chris knew, and gave us his kind permission to continue this because he knew that you guys wanted a place to go to talk about this.
And I feel the same way. I look forward to Tuesdays too because I like connecting with all you guys because it makes me feel a little bit like Jodie's still here talking to all you guys about this stuff.
Yeah. Beautiful comment, Static Marie. Like Joe said, that's why we do this. Chris, man, we say this often, but it's real. We love you, man, and we're here. You're a part of your family. Your family. You're in it. So just know that. Yeah, you're a part of it. So yeah, thank all of you so much. Joe, thank you for bringing that comment up. I didn't get a chance to see it, so thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
So for us, we'll be back on this channel on Thursday for TNA Wrestling. So come join us because you don't know who could show up from where in TNA right now, and that's the beauty of it. And by the way, wouldn't it be interesting if Joe Hendry somehow became a double champion? Just gonna throw that out there. A little food for thought as we get done.
We believe. We believe.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this week. Like I said, go support Dom, support Tazzy. There are a lot of great people. See Wrestling, Conrad. There's so many great people. I'm going to leave folks out, but go support these wonderful people and their channels and their content. Because there are a lot of great people doing a lot of great things in this space. So anytime we can shout those folks out and have them on, and Dom, that you have an open invitation. So, so we hopefully we'll get to see you again real soon. But yeah, so thank all of you so much. We're gonna get out of here. We still got over 100 people in the chat, which is nice. So, you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. But if not, we'll see you again here for Fireflies Forever next Tuesday. Take care, everyone.